On the night of November 27, 2010, Constable Keller, a Royal Canadian Mounted Police officer, saw a black pickup truck speed onto a highway from a logging road in central British Columbia in Canada. The truck was going so fast that it veered into the next lane. Keller wanted to pull it over, but knew that locals often had guns, and he was new at the job, so he called for backup. About 10 minutes later, Keller was joined by another officer, and together they flicked on their lights and pulled over the truck. Keller went to the driver's side, and before he could say anything, a driver's license and registration papers were handed to him out of the driver's window. The driver's name was Cody Legebokoff. He was 20 years old, 6'2", with shaggy blonde hair. Keller noticed that Cody had what appeared to be blood on his face, and despite the freezing cold weather at -10 degrees Celsius, Cody was wearing shorts. It was odd. Keller saw an opened beer can inside the truck, so he told Cody he was obligated to search the vehicle. He asked Cody to step outside and noticed that he had more blood on his legs and shoes. Keller searched him, which was normal procedure, finding a cell phone and a multi-tool pocket knife in his shorts pocket. Keller opened the knife, and on one of the blades he saw blood. He asked Cody about it, and Cody said he was hunting grouse, which is a game bird common in the area. But Keller refuted this and said that it looked like too much blood for a grouse. Cody backtracked and said that he had used the knife on a deer earlier. Curious, Keller then asked if he had a hunting license, and Cody said no, he didn't have one, but he was a redneck and hunting is what they do for fun. Keller knew something was off. This young man wearing shorts in the dead of winter, who had blood on him, and had already changed his story about where that blood came from, was clearly up to no good. So Keller had Cody wait in the back of the police car while he and the other officer searched Cody's truck. Keller also called for conservation officers to come to the scene, since they thought Cody might be hunting illegally. Inside the truck, the officers found alcohol, including chocolate mudslides, with 2 bottles open and consumed and 2 missing from the pack. They also found 2 crack pipes, and most alarmingly, a wrench with blood on it, and a backpack shaped like a monkey. Inside the backpack was a polka dot wallet. Keller knew immediately that these last 2 items weren't Cody's. He opened the wallet and inside found ID showing it belonged to a 15-year-old girl named Lauren Leslie. Who was she, and what was Cody doing with her wallet? Welcome to Hell is Empty. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. Conservation officers arrived to interview Cody about the deer he said he killed. They wanted him to tell them in his own words what he'd been up to that night. So Cody said he met up with his friend Thomas around 4 p.m. in the town of Vanderhoof and went to hunt deer and grouse after dark. They took Thomas's truck and drove to a nearby logging road where they encountered a deer. Thomas shot the deer with a shotgun and then they loaded it into the vehicle. Thomas then drove Cody back to his own truck, and Thomas went to dump the deer elsewhere. The officer asked Cody what the wrench was for, and why it had blood on it. Cody said the deer wasn't dead, so he and Thomas took turns hitting it over the head to kill it. But the officer wasn't buying Cody's story.
Why would you shoot something and dump it?
Like, now that you're kind of caught, and I don't know, it just doesn't seem really that right anymore, does it?
Just doesn't seem right at all to me.
No, it doesn't.
So what's the blood on the pipe wrench? Well, there was a story about hitting it with a pipe wrench or something.
Yeah.
What's up with that? What happened there?
Hit it.
To kill it?
Yeah.
Put it out of its misery?
Yeah.
Who hit it, you or him?
Me and him.
You both hit it?
Yeah.
Took turns hitting it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you don't know where, you weren't with him when he dumped it then?
No.
No? Okay. And now, Cody, this story's true. I mean, you're not, we're going to find out because we're going to go down the road and possibly even tonight you're going to show me the road. I don't know where this is going to go yet. We're going to find your buddy. If there is something more to the story, you might as well tell us now because
there's nothing. I told you what happened.
Well, it just seems kind of weird. I'm having a bit of a hard. You seem like a fairly sensible guy to me. Like you seem like a fairly.
And why I'm cooperating is because I just want to go home.
Yeah. So why the shorts and stuff? Like, did you
just threw it on?
After the deer bonking, you took your hunting pants off and put your shorts on, or
no? I have my shorts.
Oh, you were wearing them the whole time.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I seen some camel pants in your truck there.
Yeah, they were just in my truck.
Okay. Okay. So if we run this blood, if we do a forensic match on it, we're going to find out it's deer blood, right?
I guess so, yeah.
You guess so.
It obviously is.
Okay.
I told you what happened.
All the blood. So the blood on a knife, on a pipe wrench, all that will be deer blood. Okay. Okay, because I'm just trying to give you every opportunity. If there's something more to the story, to let's do it now before we spend a bunch of time and try to sort
he
through
said
this.
you just wanted to ask me a couple questions, and then I'd probably be on my way.
Yeah.
Well,
the story seems odd, Cody, to be honest with you. I just...
Well, obviously it seems odd, right?
I mean, I've never really encountered anybody that would just go out and kill a deer, beat it with a wrench, throw it in a truck, and then go and dump it. Like, why not just leave it there in the first place? Why would you?
It was on the road.
Why not drag it off the road?
I don't know. We just put it in the truck.
Unsurprisingly, Cody was going to be arrested for illegal poaching, but the true horror of what Cody actually did that night would soon become clear. Who was Cody Legebokoff? He was from St. James in British Columbia, Canada, but now lived in Prince George with female friends he had grown up with. He liked sports, especially hockey and snowboarding. He described himself as a redneck, a country boy. He seemed like a typical truck-driving, deer-hunting, small-town Canadian boy, but this wasn't all he was. He also had a dark and twisted desire to kill. On the night of Cody's arrest, Conservation Officer Hill followed the tire tracks of Cody's truck back up the logging road. There was snow on the ground, which made it easy to see where the truck stopped. Hill got out of his car and investigated the area around where Cody's truck had been. He saw 2 sets of footprints in the snow, so he followed them. The footprints led into the trees to an area covered in blood spatter. Something had been killed there, but was it really a deer? Hill noticed drag marks in the snow. Illuminated by only his flashlight, Hill followed the drag marks into the dense forest. Unfortunately, he would discover something sad and horrific. The drag marks soon came to an end, and there, lying in the snow, was the body of 15-year-old Lauren Leslie. Lauren was partially buried with her pants and underwear pulled down to her ankles. She had cuts on her neck, and her face was beaten unrecognizable. Lauren Leslie was blind in one eye and had about 50% sight in the other. She lived in Fraser Lake with her mother and went to school in Vanderhoof. She was a caring and compassionate girl who liked water sports. She didn't let her disability get in the way of her hobbies. Lauren frequented the social media site Nexopia, where she met Cody. He went by the username One Country Boy. But Cody would often ask her inappropriate sexual questions, which Lauren usually ignored. But on November 27, 2010, at around 6 p.m, Cody texted Lauren and asked what she was doing that night. Lauren offered to meet him at her high school in Vanderhoof and gave him the address. She made it clear she didn't want to do anything sexual with him, which Cody just ignored. He told her he was driving a black pickup truck and was wearing shorts. He offered to buy them some drinks, and Lauren asked for chocolate mudslides. She left her home at about 8 p.m, and then they met at 8:30 p.m. at her high school. Cody was arrested there on the highway for first-degree murder, and he was read his rights, but he denied killing anyone. He said he found it but didn't do it. He didn't even want to speak to a lawyer. He wanted to call his dad. Cody was then taken into custody.
When do I get to call my dad?
Just hang on a second.
Because I didn't do this. Seen it? Yes. I want you to leave.
Do you want to call a lawyer?
I want to call my dad.
You have the right to call a lawyer right now. How old are you? You're an
I
adult?
want to call my dad.
You're an adult? So you have a right to call a lawyer right now. Do you want to call a lawyer?
I want to call my dad.
Okay, is your dad a lawyer?
I want to call my dad.
Okay.
Because I didn't do this.
You have a right for a lawyer? I'm asking you. Do you want to call a lawyer right now or not?
I don't know why I'm fucking in here.
I told you, you're under arrest for murder.
I did not murder anybody.
Well, I am investigating a murder.
Yeah.
I have reasons to believe.
But I did not murder anybody. Found it.
Okay, well, I don't know nothing about that right now, so
Well, then don't assume that I did murder somebody.
Well, I have reasonable grounds to believe.
Well, I did not.
Okay, so do you want to call a lawyer or not?
Yeah.
Okay, do you have a lawyer?
My dad would know. I want a cigarette out of my truck. I don't know any lawyers.
Okay. Also, you're not obliged to say anything. Anything you say may be given as evidence. Do you understand?
Yep. I want to talk to my dad.
Sorry?
Because I did not do this. Drive down the road and find this?
Okay.
It's fucked
Before
up.
you tell me anything, you said you want to speak to a lawyer. We'll get you a lawyer first before you start telling me anything, okay?
Yeah.
That's your right. You have a right to speak to a lawyer before you talk to me or tell me anything.
Yeah.
So, we'll work on getting you a lawyer as soon as we can.
During Cody's interrogation, the detectives tried to make small talk with him for a painful 2 hours, trying to find some common ground to build trust and get him to open up. But Cody wasn't giving them anything. He wouldn't talk about the events that night. Instead, he talked about his job at a Ford dealership in Prince George, his good relationship with his parents, and his favourite hockey team, the Calgary Flames. He also mentioned he had a girlfriend who he had been with for 5 months. But fed up with small talk, Cody asked to go home. But the detective said he had to tell his story first, so reluctantly, Cody agreed. He said he was driving home when he saw truck marks leading up to the logging road and decided to check it out. He said he found the cell phone, bloody wrench, knife, and monkey backpack nearby. He followed the drag marks and found Leslie's body. He said her face was bashed and bloody, and he was scared shitless, so got out of there.
So let me see if I get this straight then. So you come in, you're in your truck. You get out. Where do you go?
Just walking in front of my truck and seeing all this shit there, and then walked up and seeing it. I kind of rolled her over a bit and seen she's dead. And then I'm assuming obviously that's where the blood came from, on like my shoe or whatever, and my hand, and like, yeah, like all that stuff. And
What are you showing me there? Sorry.
like from branches and all that. And
Okay, like, so is that scratch there on your hand that you're showing me?
let's see.
Right on the inside here?
No, those are old.
Okay.
But like that.
Yeah, like the abrasions that you're showing me on your
Yeah.
palms there and stuff? Okay. And how did you get those?
I'm assuming from like flipping her over and just seeing if she was still alive, and she was not, and so I got the hell out of there. And fast too. I had like a couple scratches on my knees from the trees and branches and whatnot, and picked up the shit and threw my truck in reverse and got out of there.
Do you remember what they, like...
It was dark and her face was dark and red, and it was just like disgusting, and I got the hell out of there as fast as I could.
Okay.
Because I was scared.
Right.
And like, because I have a life and all that stuff. And I don't need to be mixed up in something like this. And yeah, that's the story.
Something else on the detective's mind was how Lauren was found. Her death was eerily similar to that of a woman found 7 weeks before, roughly an hour's drive from Vanderhoof. Her name was Cynthia Ma. She was 35 years old and was found in a park in Prince George with a puncture wound in her shoulder. She had died of blunt force trauma, and she had a broken cheekbone, jaw, and injuries to her neck. The detective mentioned her name to Cody to scare him, to see if he would break and admit to the murder, but he didn't budge. But the next day, Cody changed his mind. He admitted to knowing Lauren. He said he met her on Nexopia, the social networking site. On the night of her death, he said he texted Lauren and arranged to meet her. He said they drank and had sex in his truck. He admitted to driving down the logging road, claiming he did so to go off-roading. But the story gets weird here. He said that Lauren started hitting herself with the wrench she had found in the truck, so he pulled over. And outside the truck, she apparently rolled on the ground, hitting herself with the wrench and stabbing herself in the neck with a knife. Cody said he was stunned and didn't understand what was going on or what to do. He said she killed herself and he didn't know what to do, so he dragged her body into the trees and left her there.
So she gets out of the truck, she's rolling around on the ground, and how's she hitting herself? Show me.
She was, huh? There was a wrench.
Okay.
I had a wrench in my truck.
Okay.
And it was, I believe it was on my floor.
Okay.
And I don't know if she must have seen that, or if she had, yeah. And I guess she had a knife on her, or what was going on.
Okay.
And yeah, and she was hitting herself. And I was more stunned and in awe than anything, right? And at the end of it, I was just like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
Like, this girl's lying here. Well, now she's fucking pretty well dead. And I don't know what to do.
Okay.
And I picked up the shit, fucked off.
Okay.
Literally left.
And where was she when you said she's dead?
She was kind of running around, and then I kind of pulled her off to the side of it. And
Tell me about that.
I pulled her off to the side.
How?
I pulled her off to the side.
Okay.
And then it was fucked. And then I got so fucking scared, I had to leave.
Okay.
I didn't know what to do.
Okay, that's fine.
The fact is, I didn't do anything. I was there, but I did not kill this woman. And I left. And I did.
You did leave, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I was scared. I didn't know what to do.
That's fair.
But I don't know what else to say.
But his dumb story didn't end there. When Lauren was found, she had her pants and underwear down by her ankles. But she was wearing a belt, so her pants wouldn't have fallen on their own. How did that happen? Cody said he and Lauren had sex in his truck, and right after, before getting dressed, she started hitting herself. But that wasn't the only problem with his story. It was determined that Lauren could not have inflicted her injuries herself due to the angle and the force required. It would have been impossible for Lauren to cause the injuries she sustained. So little by little, detectives poked big fat holes in Cody's story, and he realized that it was unraveling. Eventually, Cody admitted to hitting Lauren with the wrench, but only twice, and only after she'd already beaten herself. He said he grabbed the wrench off the ground and hit her over the head to put her out of her misery. The detectives asked Cody once again if he knew anything about the woman named Cynthia Ma. He said no, so they told Cody that they were going to do DNA testing to see if he was a match. But what detectives discovered was even more shocking. While searching Cody's apartment, investigators used luminol and found blood stains everywhere. Blood was on the floors, soaked through the carpet, on the walls, on furniture, on his mattress, in the bathroom, even on the ceiling. It was everywhere. But the blood didn't match Lauren Leslie. It actually matched 3 other women: Jill Stachenko, Natasha Montgomery, and Cynthia Ma. Jill was 35 years old, a mother of 6, who was found in a gravel pit outside Prince George. She went missing on October 22, 2009, 10 months before the other murders, when Cody would have only been 19 years old. Jill worked as an escort and street worker. She died from trauma to her head and had been sexually assaulted. Police were able to generate an unknown male profile, which later matched Cody's DNA after his DNA was taken after his arrest. His DNA also matched the DNA found under Jill's fingernails. Bloodstains on Cody's couch matched Jill. It was conclusive that he had murdered her when he was still a teenager. Cynthia Ma was 35 years old. She was First Nations, had addiction problems, and suffered an unknown disability that left her vulnerable. She did sex work to get by, but she attended NA and AA meetings because she wanted to get clean. Cynthia went missing on September 23, 2010. Her body was found in a park in Prince George by police. Cynthia had been sexually assaulted, dragged, and suffered blunt force trauma with multiple broken bones. Her injuries were so vicious, I won't list them here, but they were very similar to Lauren Leslie's. Cynthia's blood was found on clothes in Cody's truck and on a pickaxe found in his apartment. Natasha Montgomery was a 23-year-old mother of 2 whose body has never been found. Like Cynthia, she was First Nations and had struggles with addiction. She was reported missing at the end of August 2010, and although her body has never been found, her DNA and blood was found all over Cody's apartment. Cody was charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder. His family and friends were shocked, to say the least. Everyone described him as a nice guy and couldn't believe he was capable of such horrific crimes. His trial began 4 years after his arrest in Prince George, but he still couldn't admit to what he'd done. He testified and argued that he was involved in the murders but didn't kill the women. According to Cody, 3 people named X, Y, and Z, who were drug dealers, killed them over money. But the jury found him guilty, and he was sentenced to life in prison with a possibility of parole after 25 years. But it's unlikely he will ever be released. Justice Glenn Parrott added Cody to the National Sex Offender Registry, and he said, "He lacks any shred of empathy or remorse. He should never be allowed to walk among us again." Cody Legebokoff is currently imprisoned at Warkworth Medium Security Prison in Trent Hills, Ontario.